All right, so this afternoon is going to be all about head spa. So Amber's going to be talking about that. If you have not checked out yet, feel free, you can like take a moment, like one at a time to finish checking out, or even have some time at the end if you want to peruse and finish at that point. So she's going to be talking all about head spas, and then the very last segment is going to be all about you, your branding, your goals. I think so many times, you know, especially in the beauty industry and anything service, you spend so much time in your business that you don't get to take a step back and focus on your business. And so that's what the last segment of the day is really about. You'll find that workshop or the workbook in your green folder. So feel free to pull it out at that time. And it's not going to be like an end-all be-all of that segment. This is really just about to like stimulate your brain, help you get some clarity and get it down on paper. All right? So with that being said, I think all right, enjoy the second segment, everyone. Myself on today. The clicker. Laying the clicker. Okay. Yeah. So Amber's prepping for something. She'll be up here in a second. But I think a lot of you I've kind of told you what to expect for the afternoon. Again, just thinking of myself when I go to an event, I like to know like what's happening. So we're going to do a really cool head spa segment. We're going to talk about like the demand for the industry. We're going to roll into the Natural League system for Scandinavian scalp therapy and with some ideas on marketing. And then we're going to do some live demos with brushes, with like 2 paddle brushes at a time. Yeah, so if anyone just prepping you mentally, if anybody wants to be a volunteer to get their hair brushed or the scalp brushed, Amy Dean's going to be a volunteer. Yes, Allison. And then so you can either be the receiver of the hair brushing or you can get hands-on. But really you want it to be like fun and interactive. And I know, who was it, Kendra, were we talking about how like sometimes when you do the two, like it gets tangled, right? So it's good to practice when you have a chance. And then we'll end with some marketing and goals. But before we get into all that, we want to sing happy birthday to one of our special ladies in the room.
Yeah, so Taylor King gave up her beach weekend to be here with us today. So we want to celebrate. So if you could just take a moment and say happy birthday, we have gluten-free cake for you.
Gluten-free cake, so they're going to cut it up for us and everyone. It's half vanilla, half chocolate.
All right.
But we're glad you're here, Taylor.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Taylor. Happy birthday to you. Sally's quite the waitress there. Good job.
The fact that you asked me to do that is wild.
Maybe we were waiting for a little surprise, like you didn't like okay, so let's dive in. And the food is going to stay on that station back there, so feel free to continue to nibble. There's a lot of food left. Of course, coffees and machines are going to be there. But I'm going to open up this segment, and then Amber and I are going to kind of like volley back and forth a little bit again. But we have had a huge influx of inquiries with Natural League for head spa specifically. And I know I'm talking to a lot of you are starting to offer that service. So our goal is sort of twofold. First of all, if you're not yet implementing head spa services, we want to like encourage you to do that and empower you with our system where you feel like you can actually implement that seamlessly. And then on the flip side, if you're already doing head spa services, our goal is to add some ongoing value and maybe give you some extra elevated services that you can add to your menu and just provide some ongoing support. So again, back to my like statistical brain here. The timing is right to launch this service, so it's a global phenomenon, if you will. It's generated approximately $22.8 million last year in business, and it's projected to reach $34.3 million by 2030. So it's a big leap. This is something that is, continuing to take off. Fairly new to the U.S., but not a new concept. We'll talk about that. but look at this, search of interest in terms like Japanese head spa is up over 230% from last year to this year, signaling strong consumer curiosity and mainstream adoption. And, you know, it's getting kind of implemented all over, right? So Amber was talking about some accounts that are doing it in smaller rural areas. You have some luxury accounts in New York City that are doing scalp treatments that are fetching $235 to $500 per session. And when you break down the cost of products, like per use is very affordable to do this service. And then you can add on some extra, like whether it be the bond or the anti-hair loss, or we have some other ideas to share with you on the end, but that's why that's such a wide range, right? High-end wellness resorts are even offering these scalp therapies. So I probably don't have to convince you all, like many of you are aware and kind of tapping into that. But know that you can do Scandinavian scalp therapy behind the chair without having it be like this whole massage type experience. Not everybody has a room and, you know, the whole setup to do that. And originally that's not what it was about. It was really just about the scalp therapy. But it's evolved into more of an experience, and we'll kind of talk about that evolution, right? So I thought it was interesting when I started researching that actually the origins are from India. Ancient Indian wellness practices emphasize scalp massage and herbal oils. And then Japanese and Chinese medicine, so those traditional Eastern practices, have long recognized the scalp as an energetic and active pressure zone connected to overall health. And we'll dig in more of all that. But for like a timeline, you know, early 2000s in Japan, the term head spa was coined and popularized, where salons began combining scalp massage, deep cleansing, aromatherapy, and then these professional treatments into a full sensory experiences. The goal of this service was to combat stress and lifestyle fatigue, address scalp and hair concerns like dandruff, thinning, and buildup, and then of course provide relaxation. So Japan's holistic approach made head spa a bridge between beauty care and wellness therapy. And then Korea, being influenced by Japan, introduced scalp therapy into K-beauty routines, incorporating technology, diagnostics, herbal remedies. Europe and Scandinavian spas enhanced head spa concepts, integrating them with minimalistic, nature-inspired wellness approaches. So that's all happened for a long time. It's just like slow roll here in the US, right? So now we're seeing it trending globally, you know, in 2010, but specifically over the last couple of years here, as consumer demand for self-care, stress relief, and clean beauty grows. Social media, scalp health awareness, and skinification of hair trends boosted visibility. And so, like, I'm sure all of us have seen the content on social media, like when someone puts that halo experience there, and like, it just looks so calming, right? So now found in salons, med spas, wellness centers worldwide, these services are positioned as a luxury wellness ritual that supports not only hair health, but emotional and mental well-being. And I know one thing that you and I have found interesting is a lot of our recent inquiries from like, you know, January through now have been from estheticians, massage therapists, like people just thinking outside the box, and it's almost like that's more prevalent than salons. So we're like, salons need to get on board, but I think it's because a lot of times people feel like they have to have that whole extra room and all of that space, and you don't. And we have so many accounts incorporating the service in a lot of different ways. So if it's something that you want to do, we really want to help you customize that for, you know, your staff and your space. So the OGs, Scandinavian scalp therapy, right? I don't know if you want to talk about that, please.
So originally, over a decade ago, when we rolled this out in the US, it was Scandinavian scalp treatment or Scandinavian scalp therapy. Kathy here is the educator who facilitates the online class.
Kind of a big deal. She's online on our online academy, and there's a free class. One's free, one's paid. And the paid one you can get for free when you buy our innovator package, right? So you'll see her educating there.
She's created an entire, essentially, a career. You know, we work together, and now she's running her own salon where she's always done Scandinavian scalp therapy, not necessarily on a head spa table. So she's going through the necessary steps in providing the service, but in a private salon type of environment, which I just want everyone to understand is absolutely an option, right? It doesn't have to be laying down with a table with a water halo. So the point is that it is a driving factor in our industry. It was number 2, right, on most our top 10 topics from this morning was scalp health and wellness. So if you don't have the ability to have the lay down experience, you can still provide a really amazing service to your clients and address the scalp and the scalp health. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I helped a lot when we got down this road of like creating scalp treatment. Amber's the first one that gave me the microscope to play with. And like when you get the microscope, first time I used it on my arm, my face. We just played with it. So that's just kind of like what got me interested. I was like, that's so crazy. Like your follicles, your face, like what you don't see. And I'm like, I don't like how much volume I'm seeing. What can I do to make it better? So with Natural Leak, they launched this exfoliating scalp therapy. I'm like, this is perfect. There's no microbeads or anything. So we kind of created it to be in the salon. So I don't have a bed that lays down. I do the head spas, add a shampoo bowl, express facials and everything. I do in the shampoo bowl. And I don't spend more than an hour doing that, and it includes a blow dry. So you can kind of bring into this is how we want it to be. So yes, that's how we started. Then we came out with the head spas that got really popular. They launched a lot more products that makes it, you can have it more of an experience, but you can bring that same experience at your shampoo bowl. So it's very versatile.
Kathy came to work with me from hair school, and we had a very long journey together, multi-decade journey together. And she's like seen through thick and thin, but she is like don't give this girl a challenge, she will win. Like I know that she seems just like timid Kathy, but she's like a rock star. So I mean, she can really give you a lot of great information and options and how she's implemented it. Good job.
Yeah. And I think we'll have her help with our hair question.
Oh, that's right.
And share a story with that too. But just so you know, this is a flyer that you can download, and then, like you said, the flyer actually has the QR code for the class, for the virtual academy course. So, you know, when you want to start offering this service to your clients, you need to market the top benefits. And this is one thing I see happening with a lot of the accounts that are starting to implement. It's like everybody will come once because they're so excited, something new, but they're kind of viewing it as a luxury, right? So our goal is we want you to leave here knowing like, okay, this really is an essential treatment that people should be getting on a regular basis, just like they're doing with their haircut, their color, their facials, their massage therapy, etc. So in order we have to educate our consumers, and I know Amber's really big on that. I think that's something that we pride ourselves with, you know, as a company, is that we want to educate the client, and then we want to give them access to the private product that is truly exclusive. So when you're marketing the benefits, think about like healthy scalp is healthy hair. This treatment is for the scalp, but it's amazing how amazing their hair is going to look after. So it's going to deep cleanse the scalp to remove that buildup oil and impurities, unclog hair follicles, which improves oxygen flow, balance sebum production for oily or dry scalp. Sebum is oil. So you want to promote that scalp health as a foundation for beautiful hair. Everybody wants beautiful hair, so if you kind of twist the conversation a little bit that way, that's helpful for the client to understand. Also, just the service itself. Yes, we have anti-hair loss that we can add as an elevated portion to it, but just the service of scalp therapy is going to help boost circulation to nourish your hair root, strengthen follicles to reduce hair fall, enhance absorption of nourishing ingredients. So this is ideal for clients who are concerned about thinning, shedding, or breakage. And then stress relief and mental wellness. It's going to relieve tension in your head, neck, shoulders, trigger relaxation through, you know, all the sensory experiences, what you're smelling, what you're feeling, what you're hearing. It's going to support better sleep and a calm nervous system. So this is, you can position it as more of a form of emotional self-care. And then of course the detox and scalp rejuvenation. So we have an incredible exfoliator that helps, of course exfoliate the skin and detoxify the scalp, refresh the scalp microbiome, and then it prepares your scalp for healthy repair, regrowth. So that whole portion of detox and scalp rejuvenation is great for clients exposed to product buildup, pollution, or hard water. So even that, like there was a question that we just got in this week from somebody who was really concerned about the water quality in their salon and how that's affecting, not even in their salon, that too, but in their town, like in their community. Yeah. And so it was, a time we made to bring up like, oh my gosh, well, first of all, we have some, the volume, some clarifying shampoos that help, but definitely this service as a whole is gonna help with that as well. So we're gonna do a deeper dive into all of that, but 3 more benefits from that you can market to your clients is instant shine and hair vitality, because your hair is gonna be softer, shinier, more manageable, visible results with the before and after. Anti-aging for hair and scalp. It's going to stimulate collagen and skin elasticity, reduce scalp inflammation and dryness. Like, did you guys see those before and afters with the balance? Like, definitely reduce inflammation, right? Slows premature graying and thinning. So, like your scalp is skin too, treat it like your face. We recently did, Amber and Andrew recently went to like Pittsburgh area and worked with a couple of accounts, and one was like, none of them were salons, right? One was like, it was a lash bar, and another one was like massage therapy and kind of more holistic things. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is if you are a stylist or a salon owner, don't miss out on that. Your clients are going somewhere else to get those services from a different business like that, right? So why not, like Kathy's saying, in whatever capacity you can, offer the service. Amber's the expert, so I'll let her do a deeper dive, but I thought this was all so fascinating. Can you see it or no? Oh, yeah. Just like, I feel like we're the expert on it, but the scalp is like a vital link between your skin health and the nervous system. So we were like geeking out over this, so I was like, I don't know. Let me just move so you can see.
I thought that it was very interesting. Well, so you have the most amount of muscles right in your face, so the scalp being an extension of it, and all of the nerve endings, what you're able to do and accomplish through the scalp massage and through like a head spa service. But overall, aromatherapy that relaxes you and takes you to another place, and then the massage that accompanies that. Reducing your cortisol, improving your mood, better mental clarity, tension in your jaw, so many different things that it's considered a neurological powerhouse. I thought that was pretty interesting.
So the scalp is supplied with nerve endings, blood vessels, acupuncture points, and those nerves are directly connected to the central nervous system, which is why scalp therapy goes beyond hair care. It impacts the entire body. Like, how amazing does it feel when someone like massages and walks you through your hair, Stimulating the scalp through massage or touch can reduce stress hormone levels, activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is, you rest and digest mode, improve mood, mental clarity, emotional balance, release physical tension stored in the head, neck, and jaw. So think of head spa as nervous system therapy for the scalp. So if I were all of you, I would be like, take a screenshot of those and start to like put those buzzwords out on social media.
I think it's interesting too that the scalp shows, just like your face ages or stresses, and it shows certain signs of ailments in ways like your skin is visible, your scalp does as well. So when you look with the microscope, you can see those, striations or inflammation marks or things that are indicators.
Yeah, and then the third point is circulation, detox, and lymphatic flow. So a healthy scalp improves blood and lymphatic circulation, which enhances delivery of oxygen and nutrients to your hair follicle, detoxification of waste and metabolic buildup, and then immune system function and skin resilience. So it all boosts natural healing and supports your body's internal balance. So when you hear about all of that, it's like, okay, I see. This isn't just like, oh, somebody scratched my head and made me feel good for a while, right? There's like some pretty serious benefits. We love our rejuvenating hair mist. I'm sure, has everyone tried this? If you've not, you need to before you go. I feel like an infomercial when we start to talk about it, because it's like, shout out some of the ways y'all use it, because I know it's not just, like, Melena stayed at my house a few weeks ago and there you go.
I call it taking you to the Zen zone. Like when someone comes in and sits in your chair, no matter what, they're gonna get a mist of rejuvenating hair mist. It's on my towels, it's on my linen at home, I spray my hair vents, whatever I can put it on. But it all has benefits that are far beyond that relaxation and aroma experience because it's antimicrobial, antibacterial. It actually helps the pH of the hair, or the scalp and the hair. If you have someone who's very resistant gray, you can actually mist them with rejuvenating hair mist and it helps the color penetrate better. So there's tons of different uses for it. It's a very just like necessary product to have in your arsenal. To me, at all. It's like,
Do you want a microphone?
yeah, like if you need to calm down, just say.
We saw this Thorn and get that bottle open a reed diffuser to reduce the scent.
So this was the first launch of the Reed Diffuser, and they are going toward more of that rejuvenating hair mist. Yeah.
I mean, this
Yeah.
one's great. The first one's great, but I'm like, that smell?
Yeah.
I agree. Honestly, if I ever, I mean, you don't have to inventory anything, we like that about here, but if I were you, I would have like bottles of this, like 10 at all times, because people will absolutely buy it, you know?
My son who's 8 said to me, "Mom, that actually really smells good."
Yeah.
I just little like aha moment that it really actually smells
So for those of us that don't wash our hair all the time, like just like, you know, spraying that in and kind of tossing it and let it dry is really nice. Okay, so how this service impacts scalp anatomy. So the cleansing process is going to really build up and oxidize oils that block follicles. Exfoliation is going to stimulate that cell turnover in the epidermis, which is, you know, the outermost layer of your skin. The massage is going to increase blood flow to dermal papilla. I don't know how to say that. I'm like, where's the nutrient delivery, improvement absorption of botanical actives and serums, and then relaxation, which you know is talked about a lot. So those are like the 5 core things that we want to be mindful of, again, in the conversation that we're having with clients. Let me tackle it for a moment.
So hair loss and thinning is definitely just I feel like a factor that we see on a day-to-day basis. Either we are experiencing it ourselves as women, hormone imbalances, nutrient deficiency, stress and cortisol, autoimmune, various medications, there's tons of different triggers to hair loss, and it's just can come on at a moment's notice where all of a sudden you just have clumps coming out in the shower.
And some are like that systemic and medical, and then some are lifestyle. Yeah. So when we think about lifestyle, it's poor scalp health, which like, yeah, teenage boys who was talking about, Crystal was talking about that earlier. Thank goodness my son's 17 now. Now he like almost showers too often. It's like, you calm down. But there was some time it wasn't enough. So I was like, and I wouldn't feel like, this is years ago, I didn't know naturally that. I was like, all the dandruff on his shoulders. Can we just wash our faces, scrub our hair? Overstyling and chemical damage, like, you know, this morning when we're talking about the hair relaxers and the dry shampoos and just all of that buildup that happens over time, and not properly cleansing and detoxifying, environmental stress, you know, or just bad habits, like in bad products, let's be honest, you know, how many products have all those, you know, silicones and ingredients that just sit on your hair and scalp and don't let it.
Well, being dry shampoo jumping out of dry shampoo jumping out, I don't want to wash my hair, but that's like such a common practice to utilize so much dry shampoo, but then you're essentially clogging follicles or creating, your cells are shedding, you have oil, you're creating this layer that you need to get off to have proper control.
Yeah. And I feel like we've kind of made all these points, but I look a little like upper right hand side. The takeaway here is like we don't treat hair loss, we treat the scalp and support the conditions where healthy hair can thrive, right? For the service as scalp therapy, but of course we can treat hair loss with our anti-hair loss, which we'll talk about more. So when we think about, you know, offering this service, there's a, like, I don't want to say a lot of moving parts, but we want to be conscious of like doing things in a certain way that makes the experience really great for the client. So the first thing is like a client intake process. So when they're sitting down with you, you don't want them to like lay down and put their head in the shampoo bowl or lay on their massage bed under the halo and then start peppering them with questions and asking them about, you know, what their lifestyle is, and what products they're using, and where are they struggling with. Like, now they're trying to relax, and now we're like digging in too deep, right? So before you do all that, just sit down and have a conversation with them. I feel like sitting and eye level is good. Like, don't put them in a chair and then you stand up and hover over them, right? There's a lot that you want to kind of like be equals and sit together and make them feel relaxed. We do have a consultation form that I think you'll see a picture of in a minute. So that's one part of it. The second part of it, so that's like, let me tell you how this is going to unfold today. Here's what you can expect. I'm going to first ask these questions. I want to make sure that I'm understanding everything that you're, dealing with and what you're hoping to get out of today. Then we're going to do a deeper analysis, and that's where you're going to use the microscope and the high frequency comb and do the hair brushing that we're going to demo in a little bit here. And then based on that conversation, what your client's needs are, then you're going to customize the service, right? And so, when you create a service menu, people might say like, oh, I really need like a bond treatment or an anti-hair loss, and they might pick and book a certain thing, but then maybe when you're sitting and listening and you're hearing what they're saying, maybe you feel like you need to start at a different place, right? So I think it's just important to have that conversation. And then when I know the very first head spa training that I did with Nancy, the owner of the salon was like, she drove like hours and hours to go have the experience herself to like the closest head spa she could find. And she had extensions in, which can be tricky, but we do have a way to do that. But she was like, it was bad because she went in the winter and her hair was sopping wet. They didn't comb or detangle anything, and then she left with like wet hair and it was cold and uncomfortable, right? So I don't know if any of you have had that experience, but yeah, you're all angry at her. You're like, yeah, you do, right? So, but yesterday? Okay, where did you go?
It was in Massachusetts.
In Mass, okay. I mean, I think it's a good idea to go and kind of see, like, experience, and then it also gives you an idea of, like, how you can do better. Yeah, what
So listen, there's a fallout to this. Like, there's an improper massage, too many tools, like
the battery power thing.
Yes, and like, it's not respecting weight pattern and curl and elements about the hair that need to be respected and understood in a head spa service. And of course, as things get popular and they're a buzz, that just happens because there's people jump in and want to just do with maybe not being educated or feeling like they watched YouTube and they got enough. But the fallout from that is the damage. So I've seen the blondes whose hair is breaking from improper massage, or the curly hair that comes out and is almost dreaded, and then it's very painful and difficult. That's completely counteracting everything that a head spa service should be. Or leaving sopping wet with untamed, like people's hair. Like, I'm sorry that you had that experience. But yeah, so many things that
Wait, how much did you pay for the service? Okay. I mean, that's terrible to spend that money
I
in.
would say she was a massage therapist and the head massage my route was very
Okay,
sure.
But if I was looking for actual like scalp therapy and treatment, that wasn't it.
Sure. And there's a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, not to mention just like, I'll give out a soapbox about cleaning that halo and like using recycled water and the products and all the stuff that's going through there and blah, but yeah, that's part of our training.
Well, and I think, that's why we're so passionate about having our accounts educated to do it the right way. Because it's so hot right now, what's gonna happen is people are gonna go to whoever's offering it, they're not gonna like it, and then it's gonna be hard to get them to come back to you and try it the right way, right? So, and these are all things that, again, you can like leak out on your social media and put on your website so that when people are evaluating where to go, they do understand why this is a different process. So having that styling or blow dry bar as an option for clients, like you can either, do an upcharge and style it for them when they leave. I think Christy was saying like they're newer, we've been seeing a lot of that, like people that are building their book and newer stylists are offering that service, and it's great because they have the time to do that, and then they can also get more practice doing some of that styling. Some people that don't have, I think like Tony, you guys, I don't know if you're doing that process now, but I know when we first started doing head spa, we were talking more about just having a station that they can use, so where the client can just have access to the tools. But then even if you're just having a station, you can have like these like acrylic stands that we have up with a flyer and like a QR code where if you have styling pop, I was like, next time we do an event, we did double-sized trying station because everybody loved that. But so your clients are gonna do that, and then if you have a QR code to your web shop and they can just like add to cart and drop ship their stuff, like I think that makes a lot of business sense, you know? So again, like when we do an actual official certification course, it's, a 5-hour, however long course. It's a full day, so we can't do all that today, but we wanted to just let you know that we have all these tools in place. We have the consultation form where you can make notes on the little visual of their scout, right? You want to write all that down, and however you keep that on file, so people take a picture and put it in their software, some have a actual physical filing, whatever works for you. But yeah, so I don't know, do you want to talk through this, or do you want to educate us all through the stations, or I guess we kind of share about like welcoming, share the process. Now I pulled these up here to show you guys. Did y'all get these from the HubSpot manual? I mean, like, okay, I'm sorry, I've run events for like 10 years, and I feel like this is the most value, like Amber went above and beyond for everybody with all this stuff. So make sure that you're grabbing from all the stations to be able to have access to this, and just keep this in the back bar when you're doing the service and reference it, Time is money, and even like measuring and weighing the product is so important so that you're maximizing your profit. And also, more is not always better, right? And when it comes to product use. But again, that's all more of a deeper dive when you get like that certification course.
I'm going to give you a tip too, a during service tip. Utilize the pumps that are available for the larger size bottles and dispense use the tray and the bowl, because it's quiet. Like you're in the mode, and then you hear click, and then when you're like opening this, you know what I'm saying? And then you pop that top back on, it's like, what was that?
Yeah.
It's just a little bit jolting. So that's just my little 2 cents on that. It's like have everything either pre-dispensed and ready loaded on your tray, or make sure you're using the pumps. And keep your tray set up so that you're very easily able to reach what you need, and there's not so much downtime or moving of the line.
It's very nice. You don't always think of that, until maybe you're the one laying in the bed and everything sounds so much louder than it is. So listen, these are just ideas to get your creative juices flowing, but you can market like a finish and flourish style menu, or a blow dry bar, whatever you want to call it, but blow out the door. So you can either, have an expert stylist from, your salon, your staff that actually does that service, or they can just have access to the station, right? But again, I think it's important to offer one or the other, because you don't want people leaving with like naughty wet hair. And I'm always ahead of myself. And as an example, like we have this flyer on the styling station. That trio of product work really well together, and so if you have that there for people to use, they'll probably want to buy it, right?
And grab some of these flyers to get extra to hand out, put on your table, your checkout check in your salon. So we don't want to take the flyers home, what I mean?
Yeah.
But utilize that print material to have some marketing that you can do too.
Yeah. So, again, I started on this, but I think one thing that we want to be really conscious of with our accounts is supporting them to have people coming back on a regular basis. So, again, viewing it more as a necessity and not a luxury. So in order to do that, you have to often offer a solution to a problem. Like Sally was talking about the anti-hair loss, like people will pay whatever when they're struggling with hair loss. Hair is so personal for people, and when you're struggling with that, it's really upsetting. So I know, I've been in sales for a long time, so it's like sometimes we struggle with asking or expecting people to pay a certain amount of money, and I would just say, like, don't make excuses for people. And sometimes it's like your friends and stuff, like, girl, you're broke, and you would have come and do a $250 service, but if they want it, they want it, and they're gonna go do that service somewhere else, or just don't judge and don't assume what value people place on that service or what that means to them, right? So So offering that solution, curated menu that combines services, we're gonna give you some examples, but again, the thought that he had in sharing the examples, it just gets you thinking outside the box and also creating your own, whether it be through like seasonal things or even monthly subscriptions that helps them accomplish that. So, we're on the same wavelength, it sounded like she brought it up earlier, like how many of you personally or your clients have struggled with hair loss from using like Ozempic or, any type of GLP-1 weight loss? Do you guys hear your clients talking about that all the time? It's a very real thing. So I probably don't even need to have this up here for you all because you're hearing it and you're experiencing it and you're seeing it. But a primary cause of rapid weight loss is that it's triggering this telogen effluvium, which is hair entering resting phase early due to physiological stress. But also at the same time, it's nutrient deficiency. So when you're not eating as much and you don't have as much of an appetite, yes, we're gonna lose weight, but then we're gonna struggle with our deficiencies in protein and iron and zinc and biotin and vitamin D. I've dealt with this a lot with weight loss surgery, right? Same thing, because they're not able to eat a lot and they're not getting the right nutrients. But you can get the right nutrients in a small amount of food. It's just like, what are you eating? So, protein shakes and, whatever, eggs, like healthful choices. I'm like thinking to myself how social media calls us out. It's like, there was this meme like, what your feed looks like when you're over 40, and it's like, eat 100,000 grams of protein a day and sleep 10 hours and like all this stuff that's super unattainable, right? But all those things matter. So that definitely has a part in hair loss. There's a lot of statistics on that. So the other thing is COVID, right? So not to put you on the spot, Lee, but I know that was really upsetting for you, like long-term COVID, people dealing with hair loss. Like how many people dealt with that? Probably we all did, right? And people are still recovering from that. People still get, thankfully it seems like it doesn't last as long when we get it, but people are still getting this. It's still affecting people. Over 60% of people reported hair loss problems with COVID. So, having said all that, let's lean into that. Let's offer a solution to them. Again, these are just ideas, but market a service, like you can call it skinny, reboot, ritual, you can call it whatever you want. But when I was getting started with some accounts, they asked me to help put together packages that had retail bundles in with the service because they felt like, and it's so with our hair loss system, if you come and do a treatment one time, that's great. They'll probably feel and see a difference, but that's really not what we want. We want people to take home the anti-hair loss shampoo, conditioner, and serum to get the full benefit. So it's almost like you don't even want to have them do the treatment without taking it home because they're not going to see the full benefit, and then you don't want them disappointed thinking like that a once and done was going to regrow their hair. So bundle that price, right, and let people know it's a $350 service, but you're leaving with $110 worth of product, and the bundle are these three things, right? Another thing we do a lot of is like pre-selling the service. So especially if it's something new to you that you want to launch, but you're a little weary of the financial investment to get going with this, then start to promote it ahead of time. Have people book in advance, and then you can take a deposit. You don't have to have them pay for the full thing up front, but if they put a deposit down, now they're invested. They're going to actually come into the service when you're scheduling it, and then you have like that confidence as a business owner that if you invest in, the innovator package, so you get the product for 100 treatments behind, for 100 different clients, and in-house education, that innovator package includes that, and also like $4,800 worth of retail, right? And I think the package is like $3,400. So just think about all that. If you start to kind of promote all of these benefits and you get 30 clients that are pre-booking, that pays for your kid, right? It's like a literal no-brainer. So another idea for you is like that bond list that we were talking about. So I'm calling it bond list as like a little buzzword, but using our bond system in your head spa service as an elevated service. Again, you're offering the service with the take-home bundle of $125 worth of product that they, because if you are familiar with the bond system, part of it is the professional treatment and then part of it is the take home, right? And then we started going on with all these ideas, right? We're like, well, curly girl, we're curly girl satisfied.
Certified.
This curly girl is satisfied with nothing. Yes.
And that's what made the head spa that's specifically focused to curly hair clients.
Yeah.
Curly girl movement is huge. That can be something that you drop as a quarterly launch on your menu or enhancement where you're focused on curly hair, you're creating a head spa that's specific to that. You're using the curls and waves line, you're taking it through using curl defining cream to the end, but you're also using massage techniques and making the service applicable to somebody with that curly hair. So it's giving you a new menu enhancement, creating more interest, you're solving a problem, and that's what creates ongoing bookings. Because you don't want someone to come for their annual head spa and then just be like, that was awesome, I'll see you maybe in a year, or maybe I'll get a gift card. Like, they want to come back and be resolving something or having something that's of a benefit, a purpose, a solution.
Yeah. What about hair extensions? Is anyone doing scalp therapy and no? So that is like a specialized thing. We do have accounts doing that. And if you want to get really ambitious about it, like if you don't do extensions, you can partner with a local salon that does hair extensions and refer each other business back and forth. But you can treat their extensions in a perfect world, right? They would maybe take their extensions out, treat the extensions with the bond system, get their head spa treatment while that's happening, and then put it all back together. But even so, even if you don't want to do all of that, you can still work around the scalp, but just work around where the extensions are sewn in there. But so that takes some, skill and some intentional massaging, right?
Yeah, and that's a service or a menu enhancement. Essentially, it's our bond head spa protocol, but we teach different techniques to deal with whatever type of extension is there. So you would, of course, in the consultation, find out what method of extensions have been installed and make that a specialty head spa service so that you're giving appropriate time to massage and deliver that 3 times stronger hair factor, right? By putting the bond treatment on the extensions while they're wearing them during the head spa service. It's almost like they're going to leave with renewed extensions, giving them like that new hair feeling from your head spa. Like, it's miracle treatment, and all of a sudden you have an influx of extension clients. But that's also a premium head spa service, much higher ticket, and anybody with hair extensions loves to have the blow dry style after the product to take care of it. So that's a huge client that you can do.
But think about it from like a target market standpoint, right? I don't know if you like, again, my whole thing is like branding and business building, but we're always taught, like, think about who you want to serve, being very intentional about who your ideal client is. Not that you're not open to servicing everybody, but what makes you excited? What makes you different, right? So I just feel like that is something that I've really not seen, other than us working with accounts. I've not seen it out there where people are really marketing themselves as a head spa for people with hair extensions. And why are they a great target market? How much money do hair extensions cost? Right? They will spend the money because they've already spent the money on their extensions, and they want longevity out of that investment, right? So again, those are like offering specific solutions to a problem, and then think about just like elevating your marketing. So we kind of talked about with a lot of buzzwords and what the service does, but then again, just thinking outside the box, we have these color refresher gloss add-ons. So Amber was like all excited. I feel like that's a great idea, right? Because you can put that in as an add-on to the service, $50 more, but it doesn't take all that much, longer to do.
This would replace your conditioner with something that's adding tone. Or, oh my goodness, our clear from the liquid line offer a glossing head spa where you're doing the clear gloss in the head spa service, and they're leaving with the shine treatment and the head spa. So you're doing combinations. I mean, I could go on and on and get my brain rolling too much. Like, we'll have ideas for days, but that's the great thing is working and partnering with Naturally is keeping your menu interesting so people keep coming back and looking.
And then maybe like seasonal, right? Because if people aren't coming in monthly, we at least want them to be coming in maybe once a quarter, and that could be because of a new season. And it depends, like y'all are from all over the US it seems, but in PA, we get all 4 seasons, like in your, like this region, we really do get all 4 seasons, and I know for sure that with our skin, like I've always refreshed my skincare every season, right? So think about like what people need during those times when you're dealing with a head spa service. So maybe in the summer, you're using the Pure Silver collection because they want that glow, right? So you can keep your blondes, crazy silvers fresh and bright. Maybe in the fall, okay, now like we kind of, abused our hair with swimming in the pools all summer and
Lots of
this and that.
shampoo, all that.
Yeah, so we need to detox our scalp, we need that balance line, right? We need to like calm everything, we need a deep exfoliation. So maybe you do the balance with the gloss in the fall. In the winter, I just feel like dry, everything's dry and brittle, right? Our skin, our hair, our nails, everything. So a bond treatment would probably be good that time of year. It's good all the time, of course, but and then in the spring, we think like shedding. Shedding skin, shedding hairs. So anti-hair loss awakening. These are just ideas. All right, so go ahead and scan the QR code because all of that, I just put in, like I call it a marketing manual. So this is a link to a Google Drive, to a document in a Google Drive. And you can go ahead and download that or print it out. We did put pricing in there. I know that's something that a lot of people struggle with, is how to put proper pricing on their menu. So keeping in mind, we work with accounts from all different states and all different areas, rural, city, otherwise. We feel like that is very standard pricing that anybody should be able to command anywhere, but go ahead and make it less, make it more, whatever you want to do. We just wanted to offer like a starting point. And it's not the end all be all, right? It's just, again, to get people